Hello student, this is the second lecture of chapter 2 from class 7, and in this lecture we will discuss next point. Next point is the Chahmans. There were several branches of the Chahmans who for about 2 centuries. The Chahmans were known as the Chauhans of Sambar. They were an Indian dynasty that ruled parts of the present day Rajasthan and its neighboring areas between 6th and 12th centuries. Gobind Raj was the founder of Chahman dynasty. Next point is Rajputs. The 500 years period from the 7th century AD to the 12th century AD may be called the Rajput periods. There was a revival of Hinduism during this period. Rajput word come from Sanskrit word Rajputra, which means son of a king. Prithviraj Chauhan was the most prominent and powerful ruler of Rajputana dynasty, and most information about the Prithviraj Chauhan we have gotten from the Prithviraj Raso. Prithviraj Raso was written by the Chand Bardai, who was the court poet of Prithviraj Chauhan, and Chand Bardai had given many information about the bravery and many about the administration, about his innovations in his book Chand Prithviraj Raso. Next point is the Turkish invasion of India. The first attempt of the Muslim to enter India through Sindh had failed. It were the Turks who established themselves in India in the 12th and 13th century AD. Next point is the Ghaznavids. Mahmud of Ghazni. Mahmud was the first Turki invader to invade India from the northwestern side. He was the ruler of Ghazni. During the course of 25 years, he carried out 17 raids on India because he was attracted the enormous wealth of India, and he attacked India mainly to occupy all the wealth. It was the weak political and that was the political condition of India was also very weak, which attracted him the most. His main attacks were directed against the rulers of Punjab, Kangra, Thaneswar, Mathura, Kannauj, Kalinjar, and also the most famous attack was Somnath temple. Somnath temple was in Kathiawar. He attacked on Somnath temple and looted many wealths and plundered its enormous wealth. Undoubtedly, Mahmud was one of the greatest conquerors of the world. He never suffered a defeat. He was also great patron of art and literature, and he also patronized scholars like Al-Biruni and Firdaus. The latter wrote the great epic Shahnama. But Mahmud Ghazni failed as the founder of the Muslim Empire in India. Therefore, he is not regarded as the founder of the Muslim Empire in India. Next, Muhammad Ghori. Muhammad Ghori is known as the founder of Muslim Empire in India. After Mahmud's death, his successors were engaged in endless war in Central Asia. India was thus spared from the Muslim attacks for the next 1.5 centuries. Toward the end of the 12th century, Muhammad Ghori attacked India, and he was the ruler of a small kingdom in Afghanistan. In AD 1175, he invaded Multan and captured it. Then he moved towards. In AD 1191, Ghori attacked Prithviraj Chauhan. Prithviraj Chauhan was the powerful ruler of Delhi, and at that time, two battles had become in between Muhammad Ghori and Prithviraj Chauhan. In the first battle, Prithviraj Chauhan defeated Muhammad Ghori in Tarain, and this is known as the first battle of Tarain. After this defeat, Muhammad Ghori go back, and after 1 year he came again with a large army and defeated Prithviraj Chauhan in the second battle of Tarain in AD 1192. A little later he defeated Jaichand of Kannauj. Muhammad Ghori made Indian territories a province of his empire and appointed Qutbuddin Aibak as his governor. Next point, real founder of the Muslim Empire in India. There is no denying that fact the Muhammad Ghori was not a great leader as the Mahmud of Ghazni, but he is regarded as the real founder of Muslim empire in India, and he did not feel content with merely defeating the Rajputs and plundering their territories. He established a Muslim empire in India, but Mahmud of Ghazni was not interested in founding an empire in India. He was only interested in the wealth of India. Okay, next point we will discuss in lecture 3.